Hello everybody, we are back here on the beginner playthrough, and today we are going to focus more on the larger game like Moose and Elk, because if you guys haven't seen it, the last episode we managed to get ourselves the 7mm as well as the polymer tip bullets for it. And so we now have the ability to take down these larger animals much more efficiently than if we were using the 6.5 or the 270. So to start things out, we're going to take out a couple of these moose. However, the one that I like to take out is behind that female, so we're probably going to have to wait for him to move a little bit more. Well, to be honest, I think we're just going to take this other one, something that you can attempt on the moose, though I am not necessarily the best at it whenever they are quartering like this one is. You can actually get some hard shots pretty easily on the moose, especially if they are facing you directly, because their heart is pretty large and it sits pretty low on the body, so provided you know the distance you're at and you know how to compensate for the distance, you can get the hard shots pretty well. We didn't on that one, but it is something that is probably going to be attempted quite a bit throughout this video, and hopefully we'll end up nailing some of them so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. But now let's go ahead and take down one of the males over here. This one's giving us a good broadside shot, so we'll take him. And he should go down pretty quickly as well. Well, it seems the first shot did not hit very well on that first moose, so let's attempt to get another shot into it. Let's wait for it to go a little bit more broadside, and then we will take shot number 2. This should be a good enough angle right here to take down this moose, and let's just drop that shot into the shoulder. Should go down relatively quick. And we can now take down one of these as well, since we got ourselves at a much better angle than previously. The spot that we are hunting the moose today is Runaki Lake down in the bottom left corner of the map. We are hunting them at approximately 12 to 16:30 because that's when the moose are going to be here. I did not reset the time at all when starting this because we're not just hunting moose today. We're going to be hunting the elk as well, and it was already towards the end of moose time, so I decided to take advantage of that as much as we could so that we wouldn't waste money resetting the time when we could have shot a few moose before doing so. So last episode, we were able to get the skill that allows us to see the health with the tracks. So we can now see that we've got 25 to 50% health on that blood track. And the skill that we ended up purchasing to do that is this one right here, Track Knowledge Level 2. It is super helpful in being able to know whether or not it was a good shot. If it starts losing health after a few tracks, it's typically a good shot. So you can use that to kind of decide whether or not it was a good hit and if it's worth chasing after. Because in some cases, you might completely miss the shot and then it's just going to take way too long to track it and you probably could be killing other animals in that time period. But this right here was a good shot. Anything above very low bleed rate is typically a vital hit on most species. So let's go ahead and pick this one up. This will be our very first moose of this account. 171, we got a single lung there. If we had managed to get double lung, it probably would have done a little bit better, but we were just a bit too far away to do that. But that did get us a level up, which means we have one more perk point to put in, and we will see what we can get with that. I'm probably going to go with Steady Hands Level 2. This is going to be insanely helpful. We now have all of the Steady Hands and Breath Control perks, which will make it so our shots are just so much more accurate. And by accurate, I mean it's going to be a lot easier to stay on target because we're not going to be wobbling as much and we will be able to hold our breath for much longer than normal. So this is going to be a great opportunity to show you guys what I was talking about earlier with hard shots being somewhat easy on the moose. Whichever one faces us first is the one that we will test it on. But typically you can get easy hard shots as they have very large hearts. These ones seem to be walking away though. If we run at them, they will go alert, so that should give us a little bit of a better angle. And to be honest, we could probably hit the heart right here as well, but I really want to get that frontal shot. This should do plenty fine. Just like that, we have dropped that moose on the spot with a heart shot. And as we go claim it, we will see exactly how large the heart is and why it's a little bit easier to get heart shots on moose compared to a lot of other species. There we go, let's claim this guy. The heart is excessively large with the moose. So you can see right here, it sits pretty low on the body. If you are looking directly at it, you can just shoot right in the middle of the chest, kind of towards the bottom of it, and you'll likely hit the heart and drop it on the spot. We were a little bit angled, so we had to move it a bit to the right, and that was how we were able to get the heart there. If you're looking perfectly broadside, you can just kind of shoot at the back of the leg where the leg meets the body, and you should hit the heart as well. So moose are relatively easy to get heart shots on because of the size of their heart and where it's placed in their body. So this is a good time to talk about something I forgot to mention in the first few videos. Whenever you reset the time, it's actually going to be much cheaper at a tent. If you're on console, you get the tent DLC for free. If you're on PC, you will have to purchase it, but typically whenever they have sales on PC, this is one of the cheapest DLCs you could possibly get because it is a much older one. So typically you can get it for like $1. At least if you wait until a sale, which they do happen quite often, so this is a very attainable DLC for most people, and you will have to spend less in-game currency by resetting from a tent. Normally, if you have been waiting for a while since your last reset, it'll be about $250 at a outpost, but if you're at the tent, it's $188, which is great. We're going to go ahead and reset it to the drink time for elk, which is 4:30 to 8:30. We're going to set it to 5:30, though, just so that we have a little bit more light, as 4:30 is quite dark. You know, something that we still, to this day, don't know a lot about with Call of the Wild is why some animals are late to their need zones and others aren't. Something you will notice, especially the more you play the game, is that there's very few occasions where every single one of the animals is at their zone. A lot of times, it's going to be about a 50-50 mix. Half of your zones are going to be there the second you switch the time, and half of the groups will not be there until an hour or two after. In a lot of cases, you'll get to the area, and if you just wait there for a little bit, they'll start walking in. So it definitely seems like something makes some of them be late and others be there immediately. So keep that in mind. If you reset the time and you go to an area and don't see anything, there's a good chance that they just are late. And that is what happens most of the time. So let's go ahead and take this down. This will be our very first Roosevelt elk of this account, if I'm not mistaken. So that is a pretty cool thing to be able to finally get down. We finally have the weapons to do it as well. Since that guy was just walking in circles, I figured we might as well get him down as well, and I imagine he'll go down pretty quickly. We placed this tree stand back in episode 3, and you can already see it is serving us well with these elk. We're able to take down a couple of them without really adding much hunting pressure, and that is why I really recommend using stands as often as you can. If you've got the tripod DLC, use those. If you've got the ground blind DLC, use those. If you've got just the base games pre-built stands, use them whenever you can. It will help out quite a bit with hunting pressure as it reduces it by, I believe, 75%. So instead of only being able to kill 3 and then the 4th deleting the zone, you'll be able to kill 15 with the 16th deleting that zone. So it definitely is worth it. We have managed to sneak up on some Roosevelt elk, and there's a couple that are especially nice looking. This guy is one of them. We're going to start by taking him down. If we can, we'll get one of the others. They are in the reeds, so it might be difficult to guarantee that we got a vital hit, but I think it should have been pretty good. And it definitely looks like he is going to go down. So we got that guy on the ground. Let's see if we can possibly get a shot on one of these others. It's not looking like it, but I might just take a walking shot. That looked like it connected. The question is, was it a good shot? If you guys are wanting to look for Roosevelt elk like we're finding right here, I highly recommend running up this river. This is such a good area for the elk. You can also pretty much find them at any of these little lakes to the right of the river. But there is that giant level 4. This is a very awesome looking Roosevelt elk. 289 on the score. 380 is diamond. So this one is not a massive level 4. But even the smaller level 4s do look pretty nice. I've always been a big fan of the larger Roosevelt elk. Some of the smaller ones need a little bit of improvement, I'd say. But a lot of these larger ones look fantastic. And it looks like that second shot was a good hit, so that is amazing. Was really hoping it would be so we could get another one of them on the ground. And while I'm thinking of it, I did see a question in the comments recently that I feel is one that I definitely should answer. I've seen a few questions on how to change track color, and I can't confirm if it's the same on console, but on PC, you just go to interface and you can change it right here. You go to the clues category, and right here, active track clue color, I have it set to electric violet, and then I put the inactive track color to cyan. You can also change stuff like the spotting outline color, dog outline if you have the dog DLC, and the down animal highlight. You can turn that on or off. You can pretty much just adjust it all to your liking. The same goes for the reticle. It's right here. You can change the color, shape, and size of the reticle on a screen, and you can also completely turn it off if you'd like as well. And if you purchase the Red Raptor reflex sight later on in the game, once you've earned some handgun score, you can adjust the settings for it here as well. Typically, the further you progress in this game, I don't recommend shooting the females nearly as much as you level up higher and understand the game a bit more. Early on, when you need cash desperately, then go ahead and kill the females, but I do recommend leaving them in most cases and just focusing on the males. However, if you find one of these herds that is just females, there's really no harm in shooting a couple of them, so we're going to go ahead and get this one. And the reason that it's not that big of a deal if it's an all-female herd and you kill a couple versus if it's a herd with males and females is sometimes if you're hunting the herds that have the males and the females and you shoot a female, sometimes they end up just going to a completely different area and swapping zones with one of the males that you've killed previously. So in all, I really just don't recommend shooting the females, as most of the time it's not really getting you anywhere towards like diamonds or anything special like that, and in some cases it can kind of make the herds feel a little bit weird because they'll be swapping around. And so most of the time I do recommend just killing the males unless it's a exclusively all-female zone. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we hit that. The only reason I took the shot is because it looked a little bit darker than the others, so I thought maybe it's a melanistic, but I didn't expect to actually hit that shot. That was actually pretty crazy. And that has also led us to another all-female elk zone, so I guess we'll take out one of these as well. We are really making progress with the amount of animals we're getting down. We're starting to earn a lot of money, and that means we'll start being able to purchase some more stuff like tents and tripods very, very soon. Well, it looks like I was wrong. This is not a melanistic duck, but I still can't believe we hit it from 219 meters on the fly with the 7mm. That is quite impressive and a shot I never expected to hit. There is our little female elk, 838 cash, so they honestly do give quite a bit for being a female. Typically the females don't give a ton of money, but elks still give you close to 1,000. All right, let's get lined up on this guy out in front of us. Another shot taken and another Roosevelt elk on the ground. I talked about in the last episode of this series about taking any opportunity that you possibly could to use the shotgun, because it is one of the more difficult things to level up and be able to purchase birdshot and some of the higher tier shotgun related equipment like the shotgun scope and also the higher end rounds like the shotgun slugs and the birdshot like I mentioned earlier. And, well, opportunities like this where the ducks get close is a pretty good way to do it. Make sure you're not shooting a diamond, though, first of all. Do not shoot the level 3 ducks with buckshot, because that's not going to be a good thing to do. But, take down some of these females if you can, because it's still going to get you shotgun score. So it's definitely worth doing any opportunity that you get. And also, I did want to mention that the area that we're hunting right now is right off to the left of the main river that we were following. This is a pretty good area to find a few elk zones as well as some ducks, as you can see. So definitely recommend coming up here when you're checking the area. And while we are waiting for the ducks, let's grab this elk, 186.07. This one is a very small one, but, you know, still gets some money. It still gets us progress to future trophies. And this is going to be another duck that gets us a little bit of shotgun score. 18 to be exact. So it's not the fastest way to level up shotguns, but any opportunity you get is a good opportunity. And one more duck real quickly. 18 weapon score once again. Just under 10 score for this one. Not quite a silver, but it was the wrong ammo anyway, so it would not have mattered. You know, even veteran players like myself make discoveries constantly in this game. I did not know that elk could be at this lake. We are currently right here to the left of Calburn, and I didn't know that elk could even be at this lake, so that is actually really awesome. It's good that we discovered that, and right as I was about to unlock this lookout tower as well. Now that we have moved up a little bit closer, let's try to take down this Roosevelt elk. We're going to wait for it to lift its head once again, and then that should have been a good shot. Most likely a single lung, so it's not going to die as fast as normal. but it should go down pretty quickly nonetheless, and we'll even drop a second shot into it just to make sure it does go down. Let's see what we got going on here. It looks like it was a good thing we took that second shot because the first one completely missed. And this is a very rare occurrence, but I'm glad that we got to see it happen so that you guys will be warned about it. It is possible to shoot in between the lungs and above the heart, and that's what we did with our first shot there. Very rare that it happens, but it definitely can, and you guys just saw it. So the second shot is what finished it off there. We got a perfect lung shot as it was running away. Otherwise, we probably would have messed this one up. And just like that, we got a coyote down. That one was just a level 5, but coyote give good money, so I always like to get them down whenever we get the opportunity to. Unfortunately, I didn't see those elk, so they have spooked off. We're going to have to try and figure out what was in that herd, but we're going to move a little bit further up the river and try to get to this lookout tower, and then eventually get up to this lake because there is an outpost right next to it. And a little black-tailed deer action along the way never hurt anybody. Let's try to sink a shot into it and hope that it's vitals. It doesn't look like it, but it should die pretty quick anyway, as it's just a black-tailed deer, and the 7mm is a relatively large caliber for them. But I mean, we got a second into it anyway, so that's even better. I can't say I've ever seen a Roosevelt elk that looks quite like that. What am I looking at? That is a very special elk. We got to get that one down. There's a big 4, but I'm a little bit more interested in this super weird looking 3. I love that thing. Honestly, this is really a situation of a trophy being so atrocious that it's great. And yeah, I need this thing. So let's just drop a shot into one of the lungs. I angled it a little bit to the left that time so we would ensure getting a single lung instead of going between them like what happened on that other elk. However, I do think I hit a little bit high on it. I probably should have aimed slightly lower, but it is what it is. We will just put another into it, and that should take it down. And there he goes. He is on the ground, so it took a little bit longer than I thought it would. A little bit longer than I had hoped, but we got it in the end. And I really can't stress enough how important it is to take your time with your shots so you can avoid situations like what we just had, because in most cases, if you just take your time and wait for the broadside shot, it will go a lot smoother than this right here. So just take your time if a trophy is something that you really want. If it's a diamond or a rare, just take as much extra time as you need to get it down. That way you can avoid situations just like that right there. But this is one of the most... I don't know what even the right word is for this. Most disgustingly unique trophies we've killed so far, and I don't think I've ever had an elk look like this on any of the hunts that I've ever done here. And on my primary account, I've got over 4,500 hours into the game, and I've never seen something this atrocious for the Roosevelt elk. So that says something. Now, we won't be able to tax it yet, but I am going to save this harvest because that is a very unique bull. And before it runs away, let's get this one as well. That right there should be a double lung hit. We are officially out of tents after placing this one down, so we are going to real quickly purchase one, as tents are one of the more important things in the game, in my opinion. It's very vital to have lots of tents to make sure that you can travel around the map super quickly and efficiently. And the more tents you have, the quicker you'll be able to get to some of your favorite zones, and the more places that you'll be able to travel to super quickly. We have officially done it. We finally made it up to the very top right of the map and are able to unlock this outpost. This is a good one to get out of the way because it is quite the distance away from any other fast traveling points. So we had to walk a very large distance to get here, and now we'll be able to access this lake super easily. And this just happens to be a pretty good lake for Roosevelt elk, which is why I wanted to head on up here for this episode. And I'm hoping that there will be a good one here. This typically does have around 2 to 3 zones if you're lucky, so I'm hoping that we can get something good at this lake. It looks like there might only be a couple, though, on our map, unfortunately. So everybody's map is going to be a little bit different. Sadly, we only got one zone at this lake, and that's a bit unfortunate. But we can at least take down this guy right here. There it is. There is our level 3 Roosevelt elk. 1,000 cash, a 263 scoring one, and we did end up getting a single lung. Now, as we were traveling over to this outpost, we did earn another skill point from leveling up. So let's go ahead and put that in. I think what we're going to do is, oh man, this is a tough decision. We can either get Spotting Knowledge 3 or Track Knowledge 3, which are both very useful. But I think Spotting Knowledge 3 is going to be a little bit better for us on this particular playthrough. So, that's what we're going to go with. Oh my gosh, there we go! Oh my gosh, this is going to be our first ever diamond! Minimum score estimate of 411. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. This is going to be a giant elk. And it is right at this lake right here. The first time that we visited it, and there's a level 5 elk hiding from us. And of course I spooked it, because why wouldn't I? We have covered so much ground today, and we finally found a really nice trophy. We went around this entire lake. We've basically covered the entire right river, and we went clear up to this lake. We went to this lake, and I also checked some of these areas down here, down in Balmont Lake as well. I checked over here also, which I didn't find anything, so I'm starting to wonder if elk can even be on the left side. But after all of that, after 2 hours of searching and plenty of killing animals, as you can see in the latest harvest, we have been harvesting quite a few of them over the last hour right here. It's not going to show all 2 hours, sadly, but we've been hunting around quite a bit today, so to finally see something like this is amazing. I just wish we hadn't spooked it, because now we're gonna have to figure out where it went. We're gonna have to see if it'll come back, and if it doesn't, then we're gonna have to chase it. This is about to get really interesting. Oh my gosh, he's right in front of us. All right, let's prone down. We're gonna wait for him to come over this hill, and then we're gonna take a shot at him. He should be super close by the time we see him. So we've got to be extra careful here that we don't spook him off and that we don't mess the shot up, as he could start to spook off, which would not be good for us at all. They are so insanely close to us. I'm hoping that the females will not... Oh, there he is. There he is. Oh my gosh, he's right there. Okay, we need to prone. We need to prone so that he doesn't spook off. If I can get him to move up just a little bit more, we should have a clear view and we should be able to take the shot. Look at that beautiful elk. That should do it. That should get him down. Come on, drop. Drop down for me. Oh my gosh, he's going down. We got him. Let's go. Our very first diamond of the series was killed at level 14. That is amazing. It took us a little while to get one, but we finally did. We've had that whitetail troll us in episode 2 and now, or episode 3, I mean, and now we finally have one that is actually going to make it after a total of around 122 kills. So that makes it even more amazing. Let's get a couple pictures of this guy real quickly. That is awesome. What a beautiful elk. Let's get all of this grass pressed down. That is super awesome. That is so amazing. We finally have a diamond, and it's a giant at 413. Oh my gosh, I could not have asked for a better diamond to get as our first. Let's tax this thing. This is one of the few things that I will tax this early on, because this is truly an awesome trophy. A beautiful level 5 Roosevelt elk scoring 413.69. This guy is giant. An absolute beast of a bull. And we did manage to get a lung shot, though that was a bit of a sketchy shot to take, and I probably wouldn't recommend taking shots like that, but this situation was one where I didn't want to have to track it anymore, and I was confident enough that we would get the shot, and we did end up getting it. And what a fantastic first addition to our trophy lodge, a beautiful diamond Roosevelt elk. And while I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and jump into the saved harvest and go ahead and taxidermize this duck as well, because it's only 1,500, so we'll do that real quickly. That way we have a second trophy in here. And a pretty cool one at that. I do like the way the melanistic ducks look, so it's going to be a nice companion for our elk until we manage to get a mountain lion to go in a multi-mount with him. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you have been enjoying this beginner's guide playthrough series. It's been a lot of fun, and it's so nice to finally have our first diamond after 14 levels. Before we end the video, let's take a look at the codex and you guys can see our progress. I'm going to start doing this at the end of all of them. We've got 1 diamond and then all of the other different metals there. It'll show you the amount of harvest that we've killed and also all of the other statistics that we've got. And to be honest, 92% rifle accuracy, I'll take it. We've been making good work with our ammo and being very good at conserving it, so that's really awesome. We're also just a little more than halfway to the next level, so next episode we should hit level 15 and maybe even more, so that's going to be nice. We're going to be able to unlock a few more perks and skills, but yeah, until then, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a blast, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace!